On this one,
By the way, first time watching this, so, you know.
we have yet another special guest, The Real Minecraft.
That's me.
Personally, I think he's the best basketball reaction channel on YouTube.
Oh, thank you, Johnny.
He knows the game and its history, and as always, sharing some amazing insights.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, I don't know how to start a video like this. So, y'all want to see me on Johnny Arnett podcast? Because that's what this is. So, a couple weeks ago, Jonny Arnett asked me if I'd like to be a guest on his new podcast, Jonny Talks. And I said, hell yeah, why not? So we had a good conversation with his crew, and we just kind of winged it. It was the first time we ever talked outside of like comment sections, you know, in my videos and whatever, in my reactions to his videos. And it was actually a really good time. He's got a cool group of people, very diverse in their basketball opinions, which made it very interesting. But I didn't know what to do with this as far as on my end, so I figured maybe I'll react to it. I don't know. This is a 45-minute clip about the greatest teams in NBA history. And it's the 5 greatest teams in NBA history. It's a debate, but a lot of it we agree on. But then when we disagree, we really seem to disagree, which is a whole lot of fun. But yeah, it's a 45-minute video. I'll tell you, like, I can't believe just this segment alone was 45 minutes. It felt like I was on the show for maybe an hour, but we talked about like 2 or 3 different categories. I can't even remember now. But so there should be other segments coming out here in the near future. But yeah, it certainly didn't feel like 45 minutes that we were talking about the 5 greatest teams of NBA history. So I'm kind of excited to watch this back because I kind of just did it. And then it was out of my hands, and I'm like, I have no idea how I sounded. You know, like, I have no idea if I was making sense. I've never done anything like this. So anyways, let's tear me apart together. As I always do, I'm going to link the original video down below. This is on Jonny Arnett's main channel, but the future stuff is going to be on his new channel, Jonny Talks. But this one's on his main, so I'll go ahead and plug his main. And what the hell, I'll plug the Jonny Talks channel as well in the description down below. You guys, what was it? One more thing I wanted to do before I forgot. Shout out to new channel member Mary W. Really appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all channel members. Thank you everybody who just watches. A friend of mine just a couple minutes ago before I hit record was reminding me of when I had 20 subs. And because he was like, dude, you're almost at 70K. I'm like, yeah, it's wild. You know, he's like, I remember when you had 20. I'm like, yeah, I was liking my own videos back then. Anyways, guys, let's do it. The weakest intro of all time. I guess I had to poke fun at this intro enough times so I can get on the show.
Today's video is another debate segment from my new channel, Jonny Talks.
That's me. This is weird.
On this one,
by the way, first time watching this, so, you know.
We have yet another special guest, The Real Minecraft.
That's me.
Personally, I think he's the best basketball reaction channel on YouTube.
Oh, thank you, Johnny.
He knows the game and its history, and as always, sharing some amazing insight on the NBA's past. If you haven't, please check out his channel.
And shout out to members.
A link to it is in the pinned comment. We've got a couple more segments.
First off, that's already wild. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate the kind words. Seriously. Like, that's wild. Look, I had to Jimmy rig this because I've never done a show like this before. So look how terrible my placement is here of my icon or avatar or whatever you want to call this. That's pretty funny now that I see it back.
With him coming soon on the Jonny Talks channel. So make sure to subscribe over there as well. But on this one, we're debating our top 5 greatest teams in NBA history.
And anybody coming over from the Jonny Arnett channel, welcome to the Real Minecraft channel. Great community over here. See you in the comments.
in yet another argument between the old heads and the newborns. Please enjoy.
Dario's hilarious.
We're looking at the top 5 greatest teams of all time.
Okay, I'm gonna prepare you guys for this because I wasn't so mentally prepared. You know who he is? This guy, hilarious. He made me laugh the entire time. Russell is your modern ball apologist, so he's me and him will be clashing a little bit, which is fun. And yeah, Dario is just look at that smile. Dario was just like pure joy to work with. Oh,
this is kind of like a wide net type of thing we're gonna do here. I feel like there's a lot.
There'll be no controversy whatsoever.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Zero. I feel going through your criteria is extremely important before going through this, so you can kind of understand where my head's coming from. Number 1, and I think you guys are going to be surprised. Over championship.
Yeah, no, you're going to start with 1. You got to go 5-2.
No. I'm saying my number 1 criteria.
Okay.
Let me finish. All right. Number one criteria is ball movement and team chemistry. Above championships, above everything else.
Okay. Real quick. I didn't know we were going to do this. All right. So whatever the situation may be, we talked about some potential topics to discuss. I didn't know we were 100% doing this, so I came in with no list. So my top 5, I was creating it while we were like getting ready to like before we started recording. I was just like just brainstorming my top 5 off the top of my head. So it's natural. It's not like, it's not fabricated or anything. I really just thought off the top of my head, like, who were the best teams that I would put on this list, and I went for it.
I like a team that is a team. That's going to be a big portion of this.
All right.
Number 2 is playoff dominance, which has to do with these stats I got right here. Nobody in my top 5 has under a 10 net rating for the playoffs. Number 3 is strength of schedule, because it matters to me who you beat. Number 4 is the depth of your team. So I don't like it. You do get penalized if you are top heavy, right?
Sure.
And then last but not least is regular season dominance, because it's a team, and the regular season, even though it matters less now, mattered more at a previous time. So I think it should be factored into at least a small extent. So number 1.
All I'm thinking at this point is, well, Russell, I already have my list, so I'm sticking with my list.
Number 5, is ironically the team here at number 1 with the net rating, which is the 2001 LA Lakers.
Wow.
Okay. Did not have the best regular season, so like regular season dominance, not really, but playoff dominance. Mm-hmm. And like I said, with the net rating, they have the greatest net rating of any team that's ever won a championship. They turned it up in the playoffs, dominated. Kobe and Shaq, though. And I probably would have put them higher, to be honest, because of their playoff record and stuff like that. But something that was important to me was, was depth. And when 2 guys score almost 60% of your team's average points per game, that penalized you a little bit. So, but number 5, Lakers. Number 4, the 2014 San Antonio Spurs. One of my favorite teams of all time.
Beautiful ball movement.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the reason why I wanted to go through my criteria is because if ball movement wasn't the number 1 criteria, maybe this team doesn't make the list, or they're like maybe in the top 10 instead of the top 5. But this, to me, is probably the best ball movement team of all time. Complete, unselfless ball movement. I've said ball movement like 18 times now.
Their defense was pretty phenomenal, too. I agree with them on the defense, though.
They had
defense too, or on the offense. I mean,
yeah, they were awesome.
Wait, what did I say?
They had
defense too, Russell.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm talking about their defense. So I'm gonna have the same exact thoughts I had then, right now in the moment. So I should just hit play because I am who I am. If you didn't know I was authentic, I guess there it is. Because yeah, I think what I think and then I say it.
They were awesome. And depth as we go down here. Very deep. It wasn't about who was scoring, it was about the Spurs scoring. That is the most important thing.
Yeah, look at that spread, that point spread.
So
what am I talking about? Oh yeah, look at that balance.
6 guys in double figures in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, it moves down a little bit, but we still have 4 guys over 14 points a game, which is actually like you'd be surprised how little that happens.
Yeah.
Number 3 is the 2017 Golden State Warriors.
Wow, you, Mr. Modern Era, you picked the Warriors at 3.
Probably the most talented and most, probably the team that if we put them against all the other teams, I feel like the Golden State Warriors would probably win amongst all the other teams. But in terms of my criteria, I don't this team is deep, but the 2015 Warriors was deeper. Their first championship was much deeper. They sacrificed depth to get Kevin Durant, and I penalize them for that. And also their strength of schedule. This is not the 2018 season where they went against that Rockets team that took them 7. They smacked everybody in the playoffs, and it was because they were very, very good, but it was also because the people they were going against were not nearly as good as them.
I don't know. But
So you can talk about it in a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think about it, but we could have all probably pushed back there. Just dominating the competition doesn't make your competition weaker. That just shows the strength of your team.
Number 2 is the 1987 LA Lakers. This is a team that I feel like just doesn't get talked about anymore. They had the MVP and they had the Defensive Player of the Year in Magic Johnson and Michael Cooper. They put how many guys in double figures here in the playoffs? In the playoffs, 6 guys in double figures in the playoffs. James Worthy.
Look at big game James there. That's phenomenal. Byron Scott, unsung hero. Michael Cooper, awesome on the defensive end. AC Green, the Iron Man, still giving you 11.
Big game James.
Kurt Rambis, I'd like to see his rebounds. Where are you? Rambo, you're only getting 4 at that point? Okay. Bench. Game James. He was young. Shooting 59% over there.
Oh, yeah. The whole team. The whole team for the whole playoffs shoots 52%. 52%. Insane.
Yeah, fast break points. It makes sense.
Insane. As a team for your playoffs. Crazy.
And I'm telling you, when I talk about all those times of VHS tapes I watched of I probably watched the 87 Lakers more than any team. That team, and you'll know this, Minecraft, they treated games like a track meet, dude.
Absolutely.
There's fast break basketball where we got the numbers, let's push the tempo. And then there's the 87 Lakers who grabbed the rebound and I'm like, let's just run to run because that's what we do. They just took off every time. Sometimes it looks so forced, but it usually ended up with a bucket. Crazy.
In fact, the Steve Nash Suns, that's part of the reason why it was so exciting over here.
Yeah,
sure.
I've never seen anything since the 80s Lakers. Yeah, that Showtime was no freaking joke.
Scoring 100
and to piggyback off what Johnny was saying, actually, a lot of times it didn't make sense to go on a fast break with the 05 Suns either, but we would push it every single play. Set offense, no, not happening no matter what. Even if all 5 defenders are already down, we're pushing it. We're going to keep you off on your toes.
And 20 points per game in the playoffs. So even without
insane.
threes, they could compete in today's era in terms of points per game, which is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Another similarity with the 05 Suns. They were putting up 120 almost every game. It's wild.
And then number 1 for me is the 1986 Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
They had everything.
Yeah.
Depth, ball movement, dominance in the playoffs and regular season. And this was crazy because when we're talking about depth, and I just brought up the thing about 15 points or 10 points per game for other teams. 5 guys above 15 points per game. 5. Cinco. Outrageous. And outside of that Spurs team, for me, this is probably the second.
These guys, I always try to point them out, but DJ too. Forget Kevin McHale doesn't get enough respect. Rebounds. I'm glad this is here because I didn't have enough time to really look at it. Look at Bird's rebounding and his assist. Phenomenal. DJ's putting it up. Danny Ainge in there. So he was a starter. Okay. Yeah. It's just a brilliant team. You got Bill Walton coming off the bench and still producing, by the way. 18 minutes, still bringing down those rebounds, getting you a block a game. Fun team.
Second greatest ball movement team of all time.
I don't mind loving on this team, but I just realized who's not in your top
Yeah,
five.
I know.
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Go
Great. No,
You don't have the 95, 96 Bulls in your top five?
I go next.
I was waiting. I was staying quiet about it.
and just to let everybody know,
They're 8.
there's only one dynasty one team per dynasty on my list. So
okay. You try to stick to each organization. Okay.
Yeah, yep. So you're probably gonna get annoyed by this, Johnny, but 5th place for me is the 1991 Bulls.
I like this choice. This is interesting. 91.
Yes.
They were 6 for me. I get it.
I told you these picks were going to be wild crap. Yeah. I told you.
Yeah.
Between
no, but that was the fun of it. Was 4 different personalities with 4 different perspectives, and these are our honest choices. So it was interesting. Of course, there's going to be some overlap between the 4 of us, but I thought it was cool when I heard 90 Bulls. That was the first one that I'm like, oh, that's something I wouldn't have thought of. But the first championship, that level of hunger is hard to match. I get it.
I wanted to pick one Bulls team, and I feel like it's not. I feel like I know that first 3-peat Bulls era was better than that second one.
Debatable.
It was a diluted NBA in the second half of
I knew you were freaking. Go ahead.
And I'm just not gonna. The 95-96 is cool. 72 wins, whatever. Didn't really beat competitive teams in my opinion.
Oh, get out of here, Dario.
I personally
look at Johnny. Yeah, I was rolling my eyes at that point too. Like, come on with the narrative.
Stuck between the 91 and 92 Bulls because the 92 Bulls had the great regular season, but they had a really weird playoffs. I remember it like the offense was super stagnant throughout that playoffs. It was all weird. The 91 Bulls had that they went 15-2. They lost 1 game to Magic Johnson because Jordan couldn't guard him, just so everybody remembered.
Not true.
And then
it was the first
they lost
time
another
ever
game
in the finals,
where it was like a last-second buzzer beater. Like, they barely lost that game. Yeah, so they really only lost, like, solidly 1 game, in my opinion.
Dario lives to trigger us old heads, I believe. I really think so. He's good at it.
So you still get Jordan at his apex. And plus, you get a hungry Bulls team.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the what happened throughout that Bulls era is like they kind of had that lack of hunger, and then there was times that just people had to piss Jordan off for him to go crazy in a series and then win. They didn't need that for 91. They were just like straight on want to win a championship.
They swept their rival Pistons like it was nothing. 100%. So yeah, they were.
And everybody acts like that Pistons team was so old when their best players were all between like 27 and 31.
Right.
Like, they were not
1 year older than the
Pistons,
last year.
You beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
Like those are 2 core dynasties, like ending or almost dynasties, whatever, that are ending that era.
It's so I to defend me and Johnny. It's so weird. The Pistons. What happened? They got 1 year older. What happened to the Bulls? They got 1 year older. So what's the excuse? It's not like a whole bunch of young bucks came to the Bulls and the young guys beat the old guys. No, it was the same thing. It was so weird. So weird that people have that narrative. It's like the same people who say like, oh, Magic Johnson was washed in 91. Like, you guys really don't know basketball if you're saying this. Like, you don't know at all what you're saying.
So they're 5th for me. The 1987 Lakers are then 4th for me.
Yeah.
And it's just and this is not because they're not great. It's just I feel like the other teams are a little better. But you get Magic Johnson. To me, this is like when Magic Johnson peaks as a player. You get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has to take a step back in the offense. Magic Johnson takes on the lead and just completely destroys the league. I think he averaged 24 points, 12 assists, something like that, something crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's my dog.
Then I'm going 0-1 Lakers. I go 0-1 Lakers because obviously we went 15 and I think we went 15-1.
15-1. Mm-hmm.
15-1 straight up dominance.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant and Shaq were just averaging 30. It was so difficult. Like when you think about like having to face these teams in series and then like just having the slow pace and then you have to deal with Shaq getting automatic 2 points, or you have to foul the crap out of him. You get into foul trouble, and then Kobe just dominated on his end, destroying the Spurs, all that other stuff, whatever.
That team was legit not fair. It was legit not fair.
Exactly, just straight dominance.
I always have a hard time with this Lakers team because in my heart, they're the best team I've ever seen, like the most dominant team I've ever seen. But by the record, it doesn't show it because they were so inconsistent. But man, come playoff time that year, I don't think I've ever seen pure dominance like that. So they always land in a weird place for me.
And I feel like your criteria is, Russell, I probably used in my head, like as I was like choosing these teams.
Yeah.
I would say definitely playoff dominance mattered more to me. I would probably the most.
It should.
Yeah. Then we got the 1986 Celtics.
Yeah.
I feel like that team, like Russell said, the ball movement, all super high IQ basketball players, Larry Bird, Bill Walton. Definitely, obviously, to me, they were the best team in the NBA had ever seen until 2017 when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors and they just straight up dominated the league. And it was and everybody knew they were going to dominate the league. And they just had the ball movement. They had freaking Kevin Durant, Curry, Klay Thompson shooting threes, lock up defense. When they went on those spurts, there were times that you literally in 4 minutes you'd go down 20 points from Golden State just because they locked down on defense. You missed a couple shots, and then you just had a ton of threes get sprayed at you. So that's my list. Very similar.
All right.
Yeah, it's good though.
Yeah. It was a good list.
All right. So a team that has not been mentioned.
All right, this guy right here, Johnny Arnett, he doesn't really know much about basketball, but let's see what he's got to say.
And that is the 71-72 Los Angeles Lakers. This team won 33 straight regular season games.
Totally trolling you guys. Totally trolling. I'm comment baiting right now in case he's watching this.
To that point, they were the most successful regular season team in NBA history.
Yeah.
And this team really had it all. On their roster, they had Wilt Chamberlain, who was one of the greatest outlet passers of all time, to go along with the fact that he was one of the greatest shot blockers and rim protectors
Straight
of all
monster.
time. They had Bill Sharman as their head coach, who really wanted to run a transition up-tempo style. So they were kind of the Showtime Lakers before the Showtime Lakers. Wilt would get that block or get that rebound, outlet pass to either Gail Goodrich or Jerry West, and they're just getting buckets in transition constantly. Yeah. This team was scary, and this team was deep. Very, very quick. So I don't think this team gets enough respect. And they were due. Like, everybody knew it was only a matter of time before this team won a championship. Like, Wilt was still capable of averaging 30 a game, but Sharman spoke to him and said, I just want you to rebound and rim protect. Yeah. And Wilt's like, let's do it. Let's get a ring. And that's what they went out there and did. And
did he get the finals MVP on that?
Who was the finals MVP?
Or is that Jerry West?
I don't think Jerry. Let me see here. Who was the finals MVP on that one?
I got you. Let's see if I can get that.
Sorry, Johnny.
No, you're good. I just forget. It was Wilt. Yeah.
It was Wilt. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So finals MVP for Wilt, averaging.
I asked that question because I was assuming it was Jerry West, but because Jerry West even got. I recall he even won an MVP, a finals MVP, when they lost a series.
23 and 3.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Yeah, so finals MVP for Wilt, averaging 19, 23, and 3.
So 3 assists, 23 rebounds, 9. Okay, yeah.
And so, that's job. My fifth team. My fourth team, 85-86 Boston Celtics. Like you said, best ball movement we've ever seen. The size of that team was incredible because you had Robert Parrish, all-star player, one of the probably most underrated players ever. He gets forgotten in this dynastic Celtics team.
It's true. I tend to disrespect him too as the weak link, but the weak link on the greatest team possibly of all time. Yeah, I should take it easy on that.
Kevin McHale. They called him the torture chamber because of how dominant he was in the post. They rumored that his wingspan was as big as 8 feet long, even though he was 6'10". Just look at photos of him. He's got like a crazy body structure.
KG before KG, man.
And then Larry Bird was 6'9", started his career as a power forward. These guys have size. Then you get to Danny Ainge, who was great at spreading the floor. He could pass. He could shoot threes. And Dennis Johnson, great perimeter defender. He could get buckets as well. '86 Celtics were incredible. To me, they were the prototype. I don't even know if that's disrespectful to refer it to that way, but they were the 2013-14 Spurs before the 2013-14 Spurs.
Agree. Yeah.
Number 3, 2000 to 2001 Los Angeles Lakers. I get the regular season wasn't as good, but the narrative going on and on throughout that season was the Lakers and their switch. They knew they had a switch, and they hit it right when they needed to. They turned it up. They went 15-1. And as far as you want to talk about like strength of schedule, strength of competition, like this team might have to be one.
Yeah.
Because the way they dominated teams that they were not supposed to dominate. They were not supposed to sweep the Sacramento Kings. They were not supposed to sweep in the Western Conference Finals a 61 win San Antonio Spurs team. That San Antonio Spurs team had the best record in the NBA. Lakers swept them, and the average margin of victory was like 20 points. It was ridiculous.
Jeez.
And and what it took just for them to lose one game in that playoffs is Lakers to get to complacent. They take their foot off the gas a little bit, and Allen Iverson has an
prime Allen Iverson.
Yeah, exactly.
A hungry prime Allen Iverson.
Everybody thought that team was going to go undefeated heading into those NBA finals.
I'm so glad Allen Iverson got that win, by the way. What was I going to say? Yeah, and also I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who has a hard time placing this Lakers team, because once again, that regular season inconsistency just throws the argument out of whack. But for those who were there to witness it in real time, that was the fear that the Lakers just accumulated throughout the league was insane come playoff time. Like, everyone knew they were in trouble.
Team was crazy. Wow. One of the narratives throughout that entire 2000 to 2001 season is who's going to be that third guy who's going to step up. Because I was Glenn Rice the previous year. Turns out they didn't need a third guy. It was just Shaq, Kobe, and a bunch of shooters around them, and that was more than enough.
By the way, before you do your last one, tell me, is that not the coolest part about Allen Iverson's career right there?
Oh, it absolutely
got that one win. Like,
and that's
he ruined the undefeated playoff run by the Lakers. Absolutely. There. Like, I think that's the coolest thing on.
He also ruined Shaq's unanimous MVP.
He did.
You're right. Yeah. Shaq must hate Allen Iverson.
He low-key probably hates him.
Oh my God! Nothing more than Steve Nash, but still.
No, which I don't even understand what the hell he's talking about there. He was not the MVP that year.
Oh my God. That's a different conversation for a different time.
It is. That's for a different time.
Number 2, and
we do get into that, by the way, not in this segment, but in another segment that we did.
Some people might be surprised by this. I have, by a hair, the 2016 to 17 Golden State Warriors. You can't, on one hand, act like this team made the NBA boring, was unfair because they added an MVP caliber player to a 73-9 team at the exact position where they were.
I feel like I'm being trolled right now. Why are you showing them light up my Suns? Huh? What the fuck is this, man?
Week, because Harrison Barnes was throwing up bricks throughout the 2016 NBA Finals, and a lot of people forget that. They replaced him with Kevin Durant after they just lost in the NBA Finals 83-79, where they weren't even completely healthy. And what proceeded to happen was a joke, was like the biggest stomping of an NBA season, both regular season and playoffs that we've seen. I personally think their composition was all right. It just looked like garbage because they were just that much better than everybody else. You couldn't defend them. You had 2 of the top 5 greatest shooters in NBA history on the perimeter, and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And then the other guy on the perimeter was Kevin Durant. I remember watching the first game of that 2016 to 2017 regular season and being like, this is ridiculous. There is guys wide open on the perimeter that are in like the top 20 greatest players of all time. This shouldn't be happening.
Sure.
But that's how stacked they were. So that team's number 2.
By the way, at this point, when I heard the 2017 Warriors so many times, I knew I had to. I was literally on my end. I was taking them off my list to switch it to something else. You'll see when it comes up. I don't know if I explain it well. We'll find out. But I had to wing it to kind of shake things up a little bit so we don't have too many similarities.
Greatest regular season team ever to end up winning a championship, 95-96 Bulls.
Yep,
I think the separating factor for the Bulls, beyond the fact you have Jordan, beyond the fact you have Pippen and Rodman, and an array of shooters, and the greatest coach in NBA history, in my opinion, is their defense. 3 of their starters were first team all defense. That is the most terrifying perimeter defense of all time. And honestly, to go up against my second pick, the Golden State Warriors, for that reason, I feel like they're the best suited to do that. Because even Ron Harper, their starting point guard, was a pretty damn good defensive point guard as well.
Absolutely.
He just didn't make first team all defense like the other guys did. And that was a large starting 5, huge starting 5 there. 95, 96 Bulls. And if it's close at the end, you've got Michael Jordan. So, I mean, what else?
The ultimate closer.
It just wouldn't be close at the end.
So, we're setting up the last one now.
Yeah, they made me go last.
Is the real mind
That's
crime.
me.
If you're not familiar with his channel, he reacts to my videos all the time, so there's that. So you can check
Only
him out
the
there.
good ones, Johnny.
Fair enough.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's probably upset because I just put up a LeBron glazing video fairly recently.
right.
He's like, I ain't touching that one.
You're welcome.
You do have people asking me to watch it, but I'm like, I don't know.
But it's good to have you on, man. You are my favorite channel when it comes to reactionary content because you do it right. You don't just watch the video. You watch it and then give amazing insight that I hadn't even thought of. And you do that every video. So anyway, that's his channel. Go check it out. Link will be in the pinned comment in the video's description. But yeah, what's your 5?
This feels weird. This just feels weird, you guys. Also, to his compliments, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, by the way. I've never known what I'm doing in reaction content, and I still don't know what the hell I'm doing in reaction content. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing whatever the hell it is that I'm doing, and I'm glad it's enjoyable. So thank you all, and thanks, Johnny, for the nice words. Now let's hear what kind of stupid stuff comes out of my mouth. All right. Well, thank you for the intro, Johnny. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man, I feel we all have a lot of similarities here. So I'm gonna go down the list, but I'm also gonna try to. I've got 2 wild cards that I just put in here just to kind of contrast with you guys. So I'm gonna go number 5. 1992 Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the reasons what you were talking about with the defense. That's me. Of the 96 Bulls. If you go back. I'm sorry, you guys. I just got to take a moment for especially for all you OGs out there who've been there since the beginning. This is really wild for me. This is really, really weird. I never thought I'd be conversing with what one of my favorite content creators in the basketball universe on YouTube. Never thought it would happen. It was wild when I got the invite. I almost chickened out and I didn't do it. And then now we've gone full circle and here it is. It's just crazy. What a journey. Thank you all so much. Seriously. Thanks for hanging out and going on this journey with me. Now let's see what stupid stuff I have to say. I'm done. Watch some 92 Bulls. I don't know if I've ever seen a hungrier defense on any team in NBA history, honestly.
Yeah.
But they were kind of up and down that season, and they did have kind of a weird playoffs. So I can't put them any higher than that. But as far as I've just never seen such swarming defense, especially for a defending champion.
Yeah.
You think they let off the brakes after that hunger that they had in the 91 finals, and they finally got over the hump? No. In my opinion, they came back even hungrier, and I've never seen anything quite like that. Jordan was peak Jordan. Pippen, I would argue, was even better than he was in 91.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
They had their harmony. Their role players knew what they were doing. BJ was stepping up. Paxton was slowing down a little bit. Horace, that might have been my favorite. Horace Grant was in 92 as well, 92 and 93. So I just feel like it all came together at this point, and they had the one thing they didn't have in 91, which was true confidence. They knew they can do this. Did I think they were going to do it and then do it again and get a three-peat? No, I don't think anybody did. But sorry, I'm going to cut that guy off. He won't shut up. I want to look at, obviously this was peak Jordan. I don't feel like I need to really talk about that too much, but look at Scotty's production this year, you guys. He's doing it on the defensive end. He's pretty much matching Jordan's numbers on the defensive end. His assists are up. His rebounds are almost at 9 a game. Yeah, man, he put up great production. Horace Grant, I feel like he does a lot of intangibles, Horace, but if you watch him, other than those rebounds, he was putting in a great defensive effort. but it is showing a little bit on the stats, isn't it? Yeah, look at his defense, you guys. I think what I was really trying to say this whole time was the 92 Bulls, the proof of concept was proven correct in 91. So then by 92, they all knew, hey, we just got to go out and do what we know what to do, you know, because it's going to work. So they didn't, there was like no, what I want to say, there was zero doubt in the 92 Bulls. It was just rinse, repeat, do it again and improve. And they did exactly that. Jordan with 34. Phenomenal. What was he averaging? 50%. Yeah. But that team was just fierce on defense. So that's he was shooting 38 from the 3 as well. Reason I'm going to give it there. For number 4, I've got a tie here, guys. But all right. I've got to get the 2016 Warriors in there. But sure. I don't want to leave out the 2004 Pistons as a wild card.
Dude, that's I looked at them like for a very long time. I looked at the Pistons.
I know, and this isn't based on any stats or anything like that. Just behind the scenes. The 04 Pistons I picked as a backup because we had too many similarities. So I straight up I changed one to the 04 Pistons. I can't remember which one I changed at this moment. But I've always loved the 04 Pistons. Respect. Yeah. Because what they were able to pull off without a superstar, there was like the best like team basketball I had seen up until that point, except for maybe one other one that's on this list. But the ball sharing, the team defense, the uniting under a coach, like old school, like really just buying into a vision. Nobody was selfish, you know. You had your enforcer in Rashid. You had your defensive superstar in Ben Wallace. Yep. You had your clutch player in Chauncey, and you had your mid range psychopath in
Rip Hamilton.
Rip. Yeah, I forgot to mention Tayshaun, and it's been bothering me because I remember not mentioning Tayshaun, and that's a crime. Tayshaun was a huge part of this team. But I was just, I was talking on the fly. Awesome defender. Yeah. Rip just running around doing his best Reggie Miller impression. It was beautiful basketball. But honestly, if I had to do it, it's the 2016 Warriors. They would be.
Now, are you saying 16, the team that lost, or 16-17, the team that?
And this is my wild card, you guys, because everyone had the 17 Warriors, so I had to try to make an argument for the 2016 Warriors to keep it interesting. And I don't know if I explained it right, but like basically to do what they did without Kevin Durant was pretty phenomenal. And if they would actually sealed the deal and won it in the finals, then that probably would have been possibly the greatest team of all time. The 73-9 team.
Yeah. Okay.
I threw him a curveball there, didn't I? Going with the 73-9 team mainly because like the narrative. Okay, everybody wants to say this is the best team of all time. I'd say they were about the 4th because I mean the only reason is they didn't finish the job. Okay, right. Now if they finished this job, they'd probably be on everyone's number 1.
Sure,
know. But there's only one thing that they were lacking there. They didn't finish the job. I know everyone is going with the KD thing, but this season, like, guys, they weren't supposed to lose.
Yeah.
Like in hindsight, if we look back, like I think we could all admit, like they were not supposed to lose. Also, Draymond Green says this was the greatest Warriors team they ever had as far as team chemistry and everything.
Do you have an excuse for him though? Because I'm like, I could guarantee that you're not going to have the 2016 Cavaliers ahead of them. So how are you going to say that they're the 4th greatest when you don't even have the Cavaliers ahead of them on your list? You know, like how would you explain that one?
I mean, it's almost just like momentum. I can't really explain it in stats, but just the momentum they had going into the playoffs. Yeah. The fear that they had. The advantage. It's a psychological advantage they had over the entire league. So as much as I crap on LeBron, like I'm still amazed that. I mean, I feel like the Warriors kind of fell apart when it mattered the most.
It was a combination of things for sure.
It was a perfect storm.
LeBron was killing it. Kyrie was killing it.
Well, I got your back. Don't worry. The NBA also like made that happen.
They did.
Like, let's not act like they didn't go and suspend Draymond Green in Game 5. then give them momentum. They go to game 6 at home. Obviously, they're going to go off. And then you just did a toss-up game for game 7.
By the way, that's why Dario is cool, because I was kind of alluding to it, but I didn't know like if I should talk about conspiracy stuff on the show. So he just straight up just blew the roof off with it. Like, that's really what I was thinking, was all this stuff. Like, the team should have won. The NBA didn't want it to happen. So it is what it is. But still, I give LeBron credit for that year. I mean, out of his 4 championships, that's always the one I'll give him some credit for. Well, excuse me. Except for the fact that, what happened with the suspensions and all that. But hey, a win's a win, I guess. And but at the same time, I give him credit for that one win. Him, Kyrie, the Cavs in general. And I give him the accountability for the 3 losses they had to the Warriors as well. So
I got your back.
I think this is the greatest team to not get it done. So I feel like they had to get somewhere on my list, because they're the greatest team. They were the greatest team in a regular. I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard to judge these Warriors teams. Yeah, you noticed. I know you want to say that in the playoffs. Wait, I see. I think Dario caught on.
Home, obviously they're gonna go off, and then you just did a toss-up game for game 7. Whatever. Like, I got your back. Don't worry, man.
Yeah. You noticed.
I know you want to say that.
I did in the playoffs a couple days ago. Draymond kicked somebody else like right in the, right in the balls.
The crack
he should have got suspended for that one,
but he didn't get suspended.
Yeah.
So there is an obvious
kicked him
difference.
in the balls.
By the way, I just didn't want to say it on his channel. Right in the nutsack. And that was in the NBA Finals in a crucial time. So Dario, I don't normally get into like the conspiracy theories, but I mean, we kind of just laid something out there, didn't we?
When you hang out with Dario, that's what happens. Yeah, you do.
All right, but that's the wild card. I never know where to put where to put any of these Warriors teams. Honestly, It's really hard for me. And also, like, I have a negative connotation with it because of the impact that they had on the NBA moving forward. But it's also not their fault. They did this. It was original. It was unique. We've never seen anything like it. And it's not their fault that everyone is trying to copycat them. So, now I'm going to go also with it's been brought up many times, the 0-1 Lakers. We don't need to get into it. This was pure dominance with a brilliant head coach. You see, guys, if I didn't do a wild card, I think we'd like agree on almost everything. And it was just like the kettle was just boiling, and it was going to boil until 2004 until it burst. But until it burst, like it was like massacre. It was just drama. It was drama, but it was also just on the court was just explosion. I've never seen a 1-2 punch that powerful ever, and I don't know if I'll ever. When Dame signed on with the Bucks, I started having visions. Like, are we going to get it? Are we going to get something that reminds us of like Kobe and Shaq? It just didn't quite happen. But I've never seen it like a 1-2 punch, a guard, a center like that come together and just dominate the way they did. Like it was said earlier, Shaq would take care of the first 3 quarters. Then when it came to the fourth and, his 54% or whatever it is free throw shooting, time for Kobe to take over.
Russell, click on that Sacramento series, because sometimes it wasn't even quarters. They'd alternate games.
Yeah, they would.
That were like, Shaq would score 44. Now it's Kobe's turn. 36, 48. Like, that's just crazy. One guy's like,
I just want to take a second to highlight this. Like, look at this. Look at this. What is this? How are you going to beat this Shaq? Like, this was hungry Shaq before he won a ring. Like, this was one of the greatest players of all time right here. It just didn't last because he got big. Yeah, Kobe with his 36 in game 3. Damn, Kobe with 48 and 16 in game 4. Yeah. Johnny's not lying, man. That's insanity. But guys, 44 and 21, 43 and 20. Are you kidding me? This was pure fear.
Fell, it's my turn now. Like, that's nuts, man.
God, just look
at that. I'll take the show on the road.
Look at Shaq's rebounds, guys.
Yeah.
44-21.
Average 17 for the series.
Yeah, he can shoot 50% at the line all day if he wants, whatever. What else was going on? I just it's been a while since I really looked at prime Shaq numbers. Oh, for 0 for threes. Oh my God. What's your field goal percentage, buddy? Where are we? Field goal attempts. Field goal percentage. Okay, so he was shooting 60%. 2 steals, 13 blocks. Wait, what? What am I? Los Angeles Lakers basic stats. What's the 13 blocks here? Okay. 3.3 blocks per game. My bad. Okay. So he's got 33 and 17. 33, 17, a couple assists and 3 blocks. Yikes. Kings, man. I was a Kings fan too at that point. Like, just
oh my God, you poor guy. Jeez.
It's not like I'm from Sacramento, but I was born a Laker hater. Like, I'm from Arizona.
Yeah.
Like us Suns fans, like, we hate the Lakers. Like,
That's fair.
It is what it is. It's nothing personal. I've loved a lot of members of the Lakers individually, but I hate the team. It's just
I love my team, but there's a lot to hate about us. It's fair.
you're like the NBA's Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
you know?
Yes.
Or the Yankees.
Come at me, Cowboy fans. Come at me. I don't give a damn.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
the Yankees.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but
100%.
we've talked a lot about the 0-1 Lakers, so I'm going to move on to and this one too. That's why I had to throw a couple of wild cards. The 86 Celtics.
Yeah.
Did any of us miss the 86 Celtics?
No,
Everybody.
No.
Yeah.
for good
I mean,
reason.
it's like you all said, and it's the most similar thing is like the 04 Pistons, which is just like, this is an ultimate team, but you have a clear. I got to have them higher because they have a clear leader. They have a clear basketball god out there, and Larry.
I agree
Bird.
with this guy, Mindcrime. I agree with this take.
And everybody is rallying behind him no matter what happens. And he's willing to go out there and break his back and do whatever the hell it takes in order to win, to rally his troops behind him. And, a pre-injury Larry Bird, man, people just don't remember. And I don't know about you guys, but like it's been one of the saddest things is like how little respect like Magic and Bird get.
Sure.
So teams like this should not get forgotten. And the 86 Celtics should not be only remembered as, oh, that's the time Jordan got swept. I'm sick of that argument because, like, no, this was one of the greatest teams of all time. Shouldn't we be talking about how the greatness of this team, that they were actually able to sweep a second-year Michael Jordan when he's averaging, 45 points on you guys?
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up when I brought up the 86 Celtics. I was like, they completely ate Jordan 63.
Yeah, they did.
And
They did.
And one thing that's worth
He just
mentioning,
absorbed it and said, keep going, buddy.
Yeah,
Good luck.
pretty much.
Yeah.
and one thing that's worth mentioning here that we haven't talked about. I mean, Bill Walton was, I believe, the 6th man of the year this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was a monster. He's only playing 18 minutes a game, but he's scoring 8 points in that time and is a solid rim protector. If he's on 16 or 17, I would say probably 15 or 16 other teams within the league at that time, there's like 20-ish around, he's starting on those teams.
Yeah.
But because he's backing up Robert Parrish, like that was just a constant rotation of terrifying rim protection on this team.
The only thing I don't remember about 86 was this was already bad knee Bill Walton, right?
Yeah.
Sure. How old was he? Okay, yeah, he was 33 years old at this point. Big Bill.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just short sprints of like great basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and you remember this too. Like Walton was one of the greatest passing bigs ever.
Yep.
Oh,
top 5 probably.
Mm-hmm.
Before Jokic, they talked about Bill Walton a lot in terms of GOAT, big man passer in that regard.
Shoot,
Sure.
what about Sabonis? Like OG Sabonis?
Yeah.
It didn't last long, and I heard he was drunk the whole time. But my God, that guy can pass, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe the double vision gave him some sick passing wizardry. You don't know.
That's true.
So now you're on your number 1, and we have no idea what it's going to be whatsoever.
Guys, like I tried to get around it, but I can't get it. How do you get around it? It's the 96 Bulls.
Yeah.
It is because they got it done. Here's the thing. It's not because of the
Did you guys expect anything else from me? Like, really?
Players. I think there are teams on our list that have more talented players as a whole. But it's just the trio of Jordan, Pippen, and Phil Jackson coming together in my mind. Yes, I'm not discrediting anybody else, but that trio is what really was the heart that drove that revenge season. Because But it wasn't just about winning. It was about getting payback, because the narrative had shifted so much on Jordan and the Bulls. If you remember Jordan's comeback, once they got eliminated by in 95, once they got eliminated by the Orlando Magic, the narrative was like, it's over. This ain't the same Jordan. Sure. 45 ain't 23. He doesn't have it anymore, and it was just pure revenge. And we haven't seen that since 1991 with Jordan, and unfortunately we never got to see that again, because that was the most pissed off, that, chip on the shoulder Jordan that we ever got to see again. Was like, I'm going to prove all you haters wrong, just like he did the first time to start the first three-peat. But how do you go against it, man? They did it all the way to the end. They won the championship in 6, and it wasn't the same Jordan we were used to in the first three-peat, but it became like a beautiful Jordan to watch, because he could still leap, but he wasn't relying on it. And he had already talked to Phil and said, I don't want to score 45, 50 points, in any games. I don't want to have to do that anymore. I want this team to come together. And they really did. All he had to do was put up his 30-something a game, and it was easy money. And I'd see Jordan Pippen and Ron Harper on the bench almost the entire fourth quarter of every single game in the regular season. It was brilliant. It was just the happy, awesome, dominant season to watch. But I just got to go there because they won. Yeah. Like I said, if they would have lost in the finals and the Warriors would have won in the finals, then I would flip flop this any day of the week.
And I gotta clap back to just kind of explain a little bit of context for Dario's take real quick. Like, you hear that watered down era a little bit, and to a certain very minute extent, of course that's true, because you have like a couple like expansion teams there. The problem is, since like 1988, you had 4 expansion teams, just 4. And by that point, 2 of them were playoff teams. Yeah. So basically at that point, you're talking about a watered down league, because the Toronto Raptors and then Vancouver Grizzlies exist, who didn't even go to the playoffs. And the Bulls were something crazy. They were something like 67-9 against all other teams that weren't expansion teams. So, I mean, they still dominated the NBA without those expansion teams. But just look at who they faced in the playoffs. Like, I talk about it all the time. That Magic team was Shaquille O'Neal.
I'm just going to stop right there, because Johnny's absolutely right. So take 5 wins away. Fine, do it. Go ahead and do it. That's still the best, the best team of all time in my mind. Take 5 regular season wins, because the expansion thing doesn't affect the playoffs at all. Those teams aren't in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. Come playoff time, expansion crap, that talk, it's out the window. If not, we should have that conversation now, because there's more teams in the NBA than ever. And I don't know why I didn't say this stuff while I was on the show, but it is what it is, man. Like, if you take away 5 regular season wins from this Bulls team, and they still do what they do and got the revenge that they did and the style that they did and dominated in the way they did, and say they lost all 5 of those other games, which is ridiculous, but fine, 67 wins. What the hell does that change? That changes nothing about the history.
Mm-hmm. Penny Hardaway. Like, that team was incredible. I have so
one
much
of my favorite teams ever. The year before is one of my favorite teams of all time.
That is not a team that's supposed to get swept in the playoffs.
No.
Like, the
same argument we made about the 86 Celtics doing what they did to the Bulls. Like, we can make that same argument with the 96 Bulls, what they did to that Magic team. Even worse, honestly, because that was a title contender.
Yeah, and then even with the Sonics,
that Magic team had a ton of things going on internally that was throwing stuff off. Like, I think doesn't the very next year Shaq get leave them?
Yeah.
Shaq and Penny has
he elbows little Penny off the couch in the commercial.
But Dario, to be fair,
that was not the same team.
We just spent a whole 10 minutes glazing a Lakers team that had an equal amount of drama going on, and they were dominating the entire.
That's true.
Sure, but when you're talking about it's all I'm saying is, out of all the teams that we listed, by far, the 96 Bulls had the weakest competition in the regular season and in the playoffs.
That's why I say take those 5 wins, man. I don't care. Take them. Take those 5 wins away.
And to me, that's not really that debatable. And And if you
over the
in that
16,
league,
17
there
Warriors,
are 7 teams.
Warriors.
There are 7 teams. So that's like what a fourth of the league who have less than 30 wins. Like, this is the league that we're talking about right now.
They weren't in the playoffs, though, Dario. They weren't in the playoffs.
Time a team wins or loses, another one has to win. So you could just argue as top 10. Well, the Sonics were 64 a win team. That's who they faced.
Let's pay attention.
Hold up.
The Sonics.
This stuff wasn't pulled up live, so I wanted to see it. All right, 72-10. Yeah, there's a Sonics, like 64 wins, man. Yeah, they're no scrubs. And the Orlando Magic got 60. So, yeah, to sweep a 60-win Orlando Magic team who just beat the Bulls the previous year, come on, man. And these Sonics had to beat those Spurs, man. Like, as far as, well, actually it was, was it the Jazz that they beat? I think it was the Sonics beat the Jazz to get to I can't remember anymore. But I'm just looking at all these solid teams. Reggie was doing his thing in the East, but they didn't match up.
64 a win team. That's who they faced.
Let's pay attention. The Sonics.
Throw it up, Joe. Throw it up.
Yeah, the Sonics and the Utah Jazz, both teams who were middle of the pack throughout all of the 90s. Suddenly, this expansion happens, and they're top teams in the West.
No, Dario, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. The team came together, man. They were hungry. They were knocking on the door of this since like 1992, like 92, 93, right in that time period. They were knocking on the door, waiting for their turn to get to the finals. They didn't come out of nowhere, man.
Like,
no.
Okay, but Dario, look at the screen
in this not so good league, and now you got a Sonics team who has 64 wins, who barely broke 50 throughout most of the 90s.
You have to remember that this was an era where the pace of play was at a snail's pace. Mm-hmm. So there was like a 3-year stretch where the best players in the NBA finals are like 33 to 35, like the best player, second best player, third best player. It's just because it was just totally, well, kind of, it's just different. My point is, if you played a slower era, different guys could excel. Like, how would LeBron do in a very, very slow, methodical era? He'd be even better. It doesn't necessarily make the era weaker. It just allows certain guys to excel better at what they do best. Yeah. And so but like the Sonics, for example, Gary Payton experienced his first year as a defensive player of the year.
Sure.
Sean Kemp had reached his best. They had Detlef Schrempf. They have Hersey Hawkins. They had a bunch of great guys that Dario doesn't even know exist. You know, it was a culmination all at the right time.
Yeah, you got to do your homework on Detlef Schrempf, Dario, for sure.
And
Dario, who's the coach
I think this is a transition period.
Who's the coach of the Supersonics, Dario?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're about to get exposed.
Who's the coach of the Supersonics for that team?
Oh, that's isn't it George Karl?
Yeah.
Hey,
I was shocked he got it, you guys. I was trying to expose Dario.
How about the Jazz? How about the Jazz? How about the Jazz? How about the Jazz?
W in comments.
You gotta know the Jazz. You gotta know the Jazz.
Oh, it's the guy.
You got this. I believe in you.
No, I do know his name.
Guy.
He's low key one of the greatest coaches of all.
No, I know. I honestly, he's really.
Except in the finals when he coaches like a complete idiot. But okay, continue. Don't even get me started with that.
I can't remember his name.
He was a drunk.
I swear to God, I know.
Why did I say that?
He was against MJ Russell. He was against MJ.
I don't care. I don't care, bro. Go to the footage. They ran the same play every time. They ran the same play. There were no adjustments. Zero. Yeah. He was the Mike Budenholzer of that era. Zero adjustments.
Okay, but guess what, Russell? So did the Bulls, and they won.
That's further my point.
The Bulls made adjustments.
They ran the triangle every play of every season.
You're eighth. You have them on eighth on your list, Russell.
Here you go. You ready? You ready? Here we go. 91 Bulls are sixth. The 2016 Cavs are seventh. And
get the frick out! God,
you're tweaking. You just definitely not know 2016.
Now you're the troll.
Yeah. He said it. Yeah, I was expecting that role to be all Dario. But then Russell comes in with the wild cards, just like shaking up the whole panel. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. 2016 Cavs, 10th in net rating, one of the best offensive ratings in the history of the playoffs, and strength of schedule was amazing as we were.
For the 2017 Cavs, what Cavs team?
The one that won the chip.
2016.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strength of schedule.
They beat the best team that Mr. Mindcrime was just talking about. What are you talking about?
You're talking about like the fearsome Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan that they got through. What are you talking about?
Listen, I didn't say they were in my top 5. I said they were 7. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And the 96 Bulls, to everything Dario said, this is a diluted league. This is undeniably a diluted league.
They swept a 60-win team.
I get it.
You're not good though. That you could be 60 wins, but if 15 of those wins are against pure dog,
Go ahead.
But they weren't. You're making up numbers. You're making up numbers because the lottery teams that they went up against, they only played them 4 times that year.
No, I'm saying
3-1.
I'm saying that they're what their record is saying is not truly the level of team.
No,
that
it's not 15. It's not 15 games, though. It's not.
And
I think the Magic team.
Johnny pointed it out. It was 4 games. There's a big difference between that and 15.
Sonics team is not the same as like the 64-win Spurs of 2014. Those are two different teams.
If you can't recognize if you can't recognize a team's greatness when they're sweeping Shaq and Penny Hardaway at the Orlando best, you're just trying. Hear
me out. No, hear me out.
Young, injured too. Like this was the healthiest version of those guys. Yeah.
If we're talking the greatest defensive teams of all time, 95-96 Bulls number 1 for me.
Well, that's my big reason. It's not the 72 and 10. It's their defense. That for me, that's the thing.
Yeah, but they're not even in the top 10 of net rating for greatest champions of all. Like the 01 Lakers, by the numbers, had a better defense in the playoffs than the 96 Bulls.
Yeah, but
the eye test.
When you start getting into numbers and comparing it to like the late 90s, like 1999 was the lowest scoring NBA season since the NBA merger, which has to do with a lot of things. The NBA wanted to make a change, so they started doing Adam Silver things before Adam Silver. It just got too slow. It just got too slow. And you have said yourself, nothing dictates stats more than pace of play. Go watch those finals, and you freaking newborns are going to be bored because it's so slow.
Offensive and defensive rating. That the pace doesn't affect the offensive and defensive rating stats. Those are just what they are, and like,
they're not in that category era though. That 01 team is still in that same level of
no, they're not. No, they're not. Because if you go look at how the numbers changed, totally different.
They did.
It's already changed. Similar.
The already turtle pace turned into kind of a slog pace by 2001.
Plus, you could argue more physicality from 96.
Oh wow, yeah. Good job putting that up there. Yep.
I think it was slower when Shaq.
But again, that also worked for the teams of that time. Like Shaq in a time where there isn't as many 3-pointers, where everybody's focusing on around the painted area. Like, it works to their advantage. So to a certain extent, you play within the era you play. And that's what I don't always like about the strength of competition. I do believe, like, the Bulls are going to whoop up on most of the teams we talked about. It's not their fault they didn't play. Like, you can only beat who's in front of you. Yeah, so although that's a factor, it can't be the end all.
I agree. I agree with Johnny a lot here because it all just, you have to take it season per season. How did, say that the 96 Bulls stack up against the rest of the league? And then how did they dominate them? In what fashion? That's how I see it. As opposed to just like, well, if you compare them to the yada yada, they couldn't have beat the this team or that team, then we're getting all mixed up. We got to stick with reality sometimes, and the reality is season per season, who dominated and in what style did they do it. And like I said, that's why I did the Weird Warriors pick, because we've never seen a regular season dominated quite like that, but they didn't finish the job, so they go way down on my list. But I wanted to throw them in there because despite whether I like it or not, they do own the greatest record, regular season record of all time. So I wanted to throw them in there. But if I was comparing them to the 96 Bulls or something, considering that they didn't get the job done, I would just like shame them. They don't belong in there at all if that's the case.
But to your point, it's a factor. It's not my number one criteria, but it is a factor. It matters who you beat. Like, it does. I'm sorry. That's what makes you great. What forges greatness.
But pace of play is a little iffy because the different eras of basketball, the pace of play is predetermined in those eras. You know, like it is now, the pace is fast. When we're talking about 01, the pace was slow. Same, very similar. And the second three-peat Bulls, the pace was slow and methodical, and that's just the way it is. So we can't like punish teams of those eras for not, you know, picking up the pace or whatever you want to call it. It was a defensive era, which is what made it great. It was defense wins championships was the motto back then.
Is adversity, and if you don't have any adversity, that matters to me.
Yeah, but I can push back
in reality.
I'm about to put that on my refrigerator.
In reality,
what forges greatness is adversity, and if you don't have any adversity, that matters to me.
Yeah, but I can push back
in reality.
I'm about to put that on my refrigerator.
In reality, Tiger Woods isn't a worse golfer when he won the U.S. Open by like 16 strokes because no one could keep up. Like in reality, Tiger Woods is not a worse golfer because no one was good enough to compete with him.
Yeah, but
you know
Tiger Woods isn't bashing golf clubs against somebody next to him. That's not how this works. He's playing with himself. No pun. Sorry, pause. But he's playing with himself. Like they literally people going against each other. Like. There are people there in basketball. It's two teams going against each other. The reason why the 86 Celtics and the 87 Lakers are so high on my list is because they played each other. Like that matters. That matters that they played each other.
I know, but it's not a 2K sim. Like we can't. They can only. It's like what Jonny said. I agree with him. They can only play who's in front of them, and what matters is what do they do with the teams that are in front of them. It's like boxing. If you're standing up there defending your title over and over and over again, you can't be like, yeah, but you didn't beat Ali. Well, you didn't beat Tyson. Like, no, they didn't get the opportunity to. The point is, right here, right now, in this time period, they're killing everybody who tries to oppose them. We have to give credit to that. You know? If some team came out right now and won like 10 championships in a row, come on. We'd have to give them some praise. You know, even if we said like, oh, the competition's weak, we'd be like, yeah, but they're dominating everyone, you know? So we got to give them some flowers.
87 Lakers, like to me, they had the hardest. Like
to be fair, though,
championship.
To be fair, a lot of the teams that are considered the greatest teams ever to not win a championship are the teams Jordan beat. And in this era included. And so when you're looking at the playoffs, like they had that Miami Heat team, I'll give you that one. That Knicks team, tough, beat them 4-1. Magic team, tough,
yes,
beat them 4-0. Seattle Supersonics, tough. They got a 3-0, took their foot off the gas, beat them in 6. Like those are good teams.
Do you guys really believe in your heart of hearts that Jordan just wanted to win on Father's Day? Do you think he's really that crazy? Because they had full control over the series.
They're good for the era, like you said. I just think. In terms of strength of schedule, I think there are other teams that had a much harder strength of schedule, and that's where I'm at.
You're telling me that the 01 Lakers did not have a tougher battle to win their they literally they faced the Spurs.
Yeah,
they faced the Spurs.
No. There's multiple factors.
Look like trash.
There's multiple factors. You won that factor, but you didn't win them all. Like, no. You get that factor. The Lakers were also 22nd in defensive rating throughout the regular season.
That's the regular season. I'm talking about.
Well, is that a factor?
Yeah,
like we talked about this.
It's the last factor. It's the bottom factor.
But it's the regular
well, when you're
season,
22nd, it counts for quite a bit.
I'm sorry.
But when
they
you
were
go
the
to
bottom
top 10
third
all
of the
time,
league.
when you go to top 10 all time in the playoffs, you're good.
Always the lesser factor. And when we're talking about basketball, that's normally what it comes down to. Because even in like current day basketball, we talk about the regular season all we want, and then once playoffs comes, we care about those playoff guys, those superstars who play great in the playoffs. Like to me, a regular season is cool. Like the Lakers didn't do that great, but when they came to the playoffs and you're facing the best of the best, they were whooping them.
I know, but you can't put that above a team that did both. You know, they dominated in the regular season. They dominated in the playoffs. They got it done and just drove away into the freaking sun. Damn. Okay, they ended with my little sunset speech there. This is cool. I feel like at this point we start cooking. You know what I mean? Like I can feel the energy in there right now. And remember, like we took this momentum and we talked about like at least 2 other subjects. And I don't know how long they lasted, to tell you the truth. I was just in the moment. But I can tell like we've got that awkwardness out of the way. We're all cool now, and we're all just shooting it. You know, we're all just shooting our shit. And it gets better and better throughout there. So looking forward to when he drops the next segment. I don't know, you guys. Should I go back? Should I do it again? Because I'm thinking about doing it again. And I don't know if I'm gonna react to any of the other segments when Jonny releases them. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do. It seems kind of weird, but I did want to do it this first time, just because. I mean, well, one to get your guys' eyes on it, so you guys can go support the Jonny Talks channel. 2, to ask you guys, do you think I should do it again? If I get invited again, that is. Should I jump back on board? Is this interesting for you guys? And 3, just for myself, I gotta be real, because how cool is it that I just got to do that? I'm just a regular dude from Arizona who's been watching hoops since he was 5 years old, and I'm just talking about it online. And how crazy is it that this just happened, and then I just reacted to this? I think I need to lay down. So. I don't know if I'm going to do an After Dark tonight, you guys. This one is kind of like an emotional roller coaster for me, and it's also a super long video. Those of you who made it to the end, let me know in the comments. Made it. And then, yeah, shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. But let me know if you guys want me to do this again. I'm curious on your opinion. I know I didn't nail it. I was really nervous, but I think I held my own ground well enough under the circumstances. Now that I know that we're gonna talk like specific topics, I'm gonna make sure I really know what the topics are going in. So I'm not making up stuff on the fly, even though it is kind of my style. It doesn't feel good in the moment because I felt some pressure and I was nervous. Like, oh crap, I got to come up with this list real fast. But that's totally on me. I didn't know like the format. Jonny, if you're watching this, you're nuts, dude. This is a long ass video. But thank you for having me on the show. Everybody, thank you for watching. I did get into the comment section. I haven't replied to anybody, but I did see quite a few of you in there as well commenting. And for those who said nice words, thank you very much. I'll be responding to you guys personally. So I think that's all I have to say right about now. One more quick shout out to Marie W. Thank you very much for joining on board and being a channel member. I think that's it, guys. I got a lot of nervous energy reacting to myself. It feels really weird. But I'm gonna head out. Let me know what you guys thought. And like I said, I'm linking the both Johnny Arnett's main channel and his Jonny Talks channel in the description down below. So if you want to check it out and support that, excuse me, the link is right there for you guys. Okay. All right, I'm out of here for now. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you all in the comments. And like the video if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, or probably not like this, but you know, basketball content. And yeah, be water, my friends. Peace out.